Good morning to all. We are in the way to know about the sources for the study of medieval India. Today, we are going to see about the secondary sources for the study of Indian history. We know that the sources are divided into two important parts: primary sources and secondary sources. Last class we learned about what are inscription, monuments and coins. Today we are seeing about the secondary sources, which includes literary works, chronicles, travelogues, biographies and autobiographies. These literary works again divided into two, that is religious literature and secular literature. First we are seeing about the religious literature. During the medieval period, many religious movements emerged in India. Among this, Bhakti movement was very important. The followers of this Bhakti movement composed many devotional literary works. The Chola period was known as the period of devotional literature. For example, Kambaramayanam, Periya Puranam, Nalayira Divya Prabandham, Devaram, composed by Appar, and Tiruvasagam, compiled by Manikya Vasagar. All these works gives us the information about the religious approach of this period. The second part of the literary works, that is secular literature. What is meant by secular literature? It is one which comprised of worldly things other than religion. It is not meant to religious. It deals with the worldly things. That means not related to religious matters. Mainly it focused on the political, social and economical condition of the period. Examples: Prithviraj Raso, written by Chand Bardai; Rajatarangani, written by Kalhana. These are the two important examples for the secular literature. All the secular literary works mainly focused on the political, social, economical condition of the period. Then, the next one is biographies and autobiographies. These both, biographies and autobiographies, that provide information about the political, social and economical condition of the medieval period. In the 16th century, Emperor Babarnama and Abul Fazl Sain-e-Akbari and Akbarnama provided detailed information about these two emperors. So, Babarnama and Abul Fazl Sain-e-Akbari gives important detail about these emperors. Task-e-Jahangiri, Tabakat-e-Akbari, both authored by Nizamuddin Ahmad, is considered as the reliable than the exaggerated account of Abul Fazl. Then, what is meaning of Tabakat? Tabakat is an Arabic word meaning generation or century. Then task means is a Persian word meaning autobiography. Tarish and Tahqiq are Arabic words meaning history. Next one is travelogues and travelers. What is travelogue? What is meant by travelogue? It is a piece of writings about the travels, or the travelers recorded their observations about Indian physical, social and economical glory of medieval period. Then who are the important travelers visited India? First one, Marco Polo, a Venetian traveler, visited when the Pandya kingdom was becoming the leading Tamil power in the 13th century. Marco Polo was visited twice in Kayal, which was a port city, presently Thoothukudi, district of Tamil Nadu. According to Marco Polo, thousands of horses were imported into southern India by sea from Arabia and Persia. Then the next traveler is Al-Biruni. Al-Biruni visited India in the 11th century. He was an Iranian traveler, accompanied Muhammad of Ghazni in one of his campaigns and stayed in India 10 years. He traveled all over India trying to understand India and her people. He learned Sanskrit and studied the philosophy of India. In his book Tahqiq Hind, Al-Biruni discussed the Indian conditioned system of knowledge, social norms and religion. Next one is Ibn Battuta. He was a Morocco scholar, travelled from Morocco right across North Africa to Egypt and then to Central Asia and India. In his travelogue, the book name is Travels, contains rich details about the people and countries he visited. According to him, Egypt was rich then because of the whole Indian trade with the West passed through it. Then he tells us of caste in India and the practice of sati. We learn from him that Indian merchants were carrying on a brisk trade for imports and Indian ships in the seas. He describes the city of Delhi was a vast and magnificent city. Those the days when Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq transferred his capital from Delhi to Devagiri or Daulatabad in the south. Next one, an Italian traveler named Niccolo Conti came to India in 1420. Then Abdul Razzaq came from Herat, the court of Great Khan in Central Asia in 1443. Domingo Paes, a Portuguese traveler, visited the city in 1522. All of them recorded their observations, which are very useful for us today to know the glory of Vijayanagar Empire. So, the summary of this lesson: the period from AD 700 to 1200 and from AD 1200 to 1700 are classified as early medieval and later medieval periods in Indian history. Sources are classified as primary and secondary sources. Inscriptions on stones, rocks and temple temple walls and copper plates grand with royal orders and events in the courts which have evidently value and dealt with. Temples, palaces, mosques, tombs, forts, minars and minarets, collectively known as monuments, belongs to early medieval and Mughal periods are highlighted. The coins of Iltutmish, Alauddin Khilji and copper coins of the later Islamic rulers are discussed. Devotional literature belongs to the era of Bhakti movement is provided. Books, biographies and autobiographies that provide information about the political, social, economic conditions of the medieval times and detailed. Travelers' accounts mostly by visiting Arab and Persian scholars are given in the end. Thank you.